What's up, fellow fans of Clash of Clans? Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Get ready for the top 3 critical base design flaws players are making right now. And it's sponsored by Galactic Frontline, you guys. This is a 3D space battle RTS. You guys know I'm really into space and space games. The visuals on this game are incredible. It is heart-pumping strategic action where you're playing against other players in real time. You're controlling your ship. You've got escort vessels, combat units that you have to use tactically to gain the advantage over other players out in space. I love the star system map. The storyline really gets you hooked into this game. And then the tournament mode, you've got a leveled playing field where you can face other players with pre-selected units, or you can play in ranking mode where you are matched up against other players trying to climb that ladder for the big rewards that you get for the more players that you can defeat. And also, down in the comments, I'll be giving out two random $25 gift cards to you guys just for being here. Now today in Clash of Clans, we are talking about the top 3 most common and critical building mistakes that people make when designing their base in the Builder Hall base. All right, that was a long one, but okay, let's get right into it. The first one you can see underway at the top of your screen. Watch Curtis's single beta minion at the very top of the screen. Now the rest of the attack is underway, but at the top, one beta minion is going to take out 5 structures. All right, so that leads to number 1, lopsided ground versus air defense. The idea that you need to obviously mix things up in your base. You need to have short range and long range defenses covering the whole area. Now, it doesn't just mean watch out for letting one minion take out a bunch of structures. It also applies to the placement of cannons, the settings of archer towers. Remember that double cannons have a much shorter range than the single cannons do, so they don't do as much damage, but they're going to be effective at getting those barbs, those archers, and of course the bombers out of the way at a longer range. So you don't want to give up a bunch of percentage points, or you don't want to encourage a player to come at you with ground or air specifically because of the way your base is set up. Now, right now, most likely it is going to be because of lopsided air defenses that you draw in an air attack, because the meta right now has it that ground is the way to go. Especially at Builder Hall 8 right now, you're going to see about 80% ground attacks. Now, that can make it where you can do a little bit of a change to your base and maybe offset some of the air defenses a little bit, but anytime you get air bombs way off towards one edge of the base or the other, or far from the Builder Hall, you're almost always going to get hit with either drop minion or some Night Witch, drop ship, baby dragon combination. Now, before we get on to number 2, I wanted to talk a little bit about the general idea of base design. Now, obviously, top players usually put up a decoy base. They don't want their true base being exposed to a lot of other players. Copying another base can be effective, but in this day and age, it almost always takes a very unique and original base to throw players off. The idea that a player doesn't necessarily know how to hit your style base. Is it a diamond? Is it one of those bracket bases? There are certain metas out there that if you can change things up enough, they may not be able to decode your base in the short amount of time that they have to get prepared and decide what type of attack they would like to set in. Also, another quick tip, you can throw players off or decoy players with a certain base. If you've got slightly offset air bombs, maybe you're going to set your mines on the opposite side, or maybe on the same side but set to ground. There's a lot of different things you can do, but that's probably for a second episode, because right now we're sticking to these 3 major design flaws. And for design flaw number 2, we're going to look at this recent attack of mine and the very outside of this base. Now, I realize the idea of these camps out here is to maybe slow the attack down, but it's useless. Okay, there's no sense in doing what this player has done with the camps, because it only takes a couple of barbarians. So yes, number 2 is too many free or cheap structures. Now, a free structure is a structure that has no opposition whatsoever. A cheap structure is going to be a structure like those on the right-hand side, where usually just one unit can take one of those buildings down. And check it out, before the main attack has even begun, 22% damage. So nearly a quarter of this base was virtually free. Just took a few barbs and I got those structures out of the way. So really you're seeing two types. On the left hand side, those you never want to put out there. On the right hand side, those can make sense. And we'll talk about that in the number 3 design flaw, about where you put those outside structures. But for now, we move in through the rest of this attack, and I have to tell you, I mean, right here, this wasn't the best executed attack, but because I already had nearly a quarter of this base down, we get in here and get the builder hall down, and the second star is going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy, or something like that. Whatever those kids say these days about them attacks. Anyway, so yeah, all right. So 68% will be the final damage score on this attack, and again, because of the lack of walls and the lack of the changeability of the walls, they're linked together, you aren't always going to be able to protect all of your structures. Just making a big wall ring around your base wouldn't make any sense. So yes, you are going to always have to sacrifice structures, but you can put them to work for you rather than letting them add to the damage to your village. And that's what we will get into when we get to number 3. All right, check out the beginning of my defense and the bottom right here. As the bombers move in, check out the bombers destroying the walls and the buildings in one shot because, yes, number 3, my outside buildings were abutting exterior walls. And what I mean is the buildings were touching the walls, bombers do splash damage, and that enabled the bombers with that first shot to not only damage or take out the structure, but also take down the very important walls that were holding those guys out. And that is a very easy mistake to make and a very easy one to correct just by moving your buildings one space away from your outermost walls. So let's go ahead and take a look after I've fixed my base and moved those buildings. There, bottom right, you can see they've been moved just one space. One space away from the wall makes all the difference. As the attack gets underway, eventually the attacker is going to go ahead and drop bombers. Right here, let's go ahead and zoom in and take a look at the bombers' damage. Yes, the bombers will take out the buildings with that big, powerful first shot, but not the walls. They're going to have to get in there and work on the walls separately before they can get through, and that is going to save you a lot of headaches in the long run. Back to the first attack. We'll look at it one more time. Bombers right here in slow motion, and there you go. One-shotting those walls. Level 8 walls going down to one bomber's bomb. Again, it's a very small adjustment, but it can make a huge difference in defending against a ground attack. Now, of course, we could go on. There are many other tips that I'd like to work on builder base and home base design, so let me know down in the comments. And speaking of comments, let's address some. General Luke says, can you play Fortnite? Yes, and I will be live streaming it on Twitch. And when is the next update? General Luke, the next update is going to be pretty soon. All right, Andy says, I was getting scared, but then you said, is it some kind of Illuminati? Then I died laughing. Hey, come on, I cannot afford to have my subs dying. I need my subs. I need my subs. Sam Corbett says he thinks the new defense will be a new level of walls, but the new level will block air troops. This is something I've been talking to Supercell for ages about. Thank you for the support, but man, literally 3 years worth of videos trying to suggest a new type of wall, and they will not listen to me, you guys. It's like banging my head against a... I can't remember that saying, but anyway, it's like, yeah, it's frustrating. Next up, Gamers Compilation says, almost believed I almost reinstalled Clash Royale. So some people actually liked the idea of the voice emotes coming to Clash Royale, surprisingly enough, but hey, it's like everything else. You can never please everybody all of the time. Sriram is complaining about Peter's accent, apparently. He doesn't like the way he says gem or the way he says village. Good old Peter. I honestly don't know where that accent comes from. I really don't. Now, this next comment is in response to one of my old Strange But True videos where I found what I thought at the time was the oldest troop request in Clash of Clans. Now, I filled that troop request and a lot of people raged at me in the comments. They're like, you ruined it. I can't believe you filled that request. But trust me, there were older ones I found and didn't fill in a future episode. And also, I'm looking for older requests. Let me know if you guys can find either the oldest request ever needs to be over 1,000 days old and still open, or also the oldest chat ever that still appears in the clan chat screen. I would love to see either one of those, and if I use yours in a future episode, I will shoot you some free gems. Also, I just wanted to say thank you so much to my viewers from around the world. You guys are amazing. Shout out and love to Bangladesh, Romania, Pakistan, China, India, and everywhere else. If you guys want, go ahead and leave where you are watching this video from down in the comments, and I will try to give you acknowledgement in a future video, because I truly think it is one of the great things about Clash of Clans, bringing people together from all around the world. Thank you so much for sticking around all the way to the end of this episode. You truly are a very special member of the Gala fam. I appreciate your time. Go make the best of the rest of your day. Be positive, be optimistic, love one another, be kind to other people, and I will see you back here again tomorrow for more full attacks.
Galadon! Galadon!
What, Peter?
Do you need me to talk at the end of your video to make it 10 minutes?
No, got that covered with the comments, but thanks.
What?
Don't need you.
No.
Nope.
Well, then what do you need me for?
I don't need you for anything right now, Peter.
Galadon!
Sorry.
That's not right.
No, it's right. So right.